Now I will be discussing the third type of ratios, which is called as turnover ratios, which is also known as performance ratios or activity ratios. So these are the ratios which are used to indicate the efficiency with which the assets and resources of the firm are being utilized. So these ratios are also called as what? Turnover ratios, because they indicate the speed. They indicate the speed with which the assets are being converted into sales. So the first type of turnover ratio is called as inventory turnover ratio, which is also called as stock turnover ratio. So this ratio is calculated by dividing CGS, cost of goods sold, by average inventory. Average inventory is nothing but average stock. So formula will be inventory turnover ratio is equals to CGS divided by average stock or average inventory. So how do you calculate CGS? There are two formulas for calculating CGS. The first formula is, as you all know, CGS is equals to sales minus gross profit. What is the second formula? CGS is equals to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses, that is carriage inward, and other direct expenses minus closing stock. So these are the two formulas for CGS. And how to calculate average stock? Average stock is equals to opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2, or half of opening stock and closing stock. Suppose if in the problem CGS is not given, then you can use sales. So the use of the formula depends upon the type of information given in the problem. So it will be sales divided by average inventory at selling price, or sales divided by average inventory at cost. The second type of turnover ratio is called as debtors turnover ratio, which is also called as receivables turnover ratio. So what is the formula for debtors turnover ratio? Net credit sales divided by average debtors, which I am going to discuss in the next page. So it is nothing but net credit sales divided by average debtors. As we all know that when do debtors exist? Only when there is credit sales. So you remember the formula in this manner. So debtors turnover ratio is equals to net credit sales divided by average debtors. So what does this ratio indicate? This ratio indicates the relationship between what? Net credit sales and trade creditors. So it shows trade creditor, it is not trade creditors, it is trade debtors. So it shows the ratio at which cash is generated by the turnover of debtors. So the way in which the cash is being converted from debtors. So highest turnover indicates that debts are being collected quickly. So if the turnover is very high, then we can say that the debtor, that is the debts collected ratio, will be very high, and therefore the amount so collected from the debtor, so we can say that higher the turnover ratio, more will be the collection of the amount from the debtors. So debtors turnover ratio, as I have already discussed, it is net credit sales divided by average debtors. Then what does this term debtors include? It includes trade debtors and bills receivable. So doubtful debts are not deducted from debtors. Moreover, debtors that do not rise from the regular sales should be excluded. Example, bills receivable from buyer of an old machinery and plant should be excluded. Next one, your average collection period. So the debtors turnover ratio is usually supplemented by average collection period. So the debtors turnover ratio together with average collection period involves the following steps. So what are the steps? So whenever we calculate debtors turnover ratio, be careful, we have to calculate average collection period, and whenever we are calculating creditors turnover ratio, we have to calculate average payment period, which I am going to discuss later. So calculation of daily sales. So daily sales per day is equals to, this is the formula for calculating average collection period. Net sales, that is credit sales, divided by number of working days in a year. It may be 365 days or 366 days. So net, whenever we are talking about sales, it is net credit sales, because we are calculating average collection period. So the second formula that you have for average collection period is average collection period is equals to debtors divided by credit sales into 365 days. Don't get confused. So I am going to teach you the easiest way of remembering the formula, students. So as you all know, what is the formula for calculating debtors turnover ratio? Debtors turnover ratio is equals to what? Net credit sales divided by average debtors. So what you are going to do here, in order to find out average collection period, so here you have to write debtors, okay, and in the denominator write credit sales. But only thing is you have to add 365 days multiplied by what? 365 days or 366 days, whichever is given in the problem. Okay, this is average collection period. And or you can follow this method also. Average collection period is equals to days in a year, either 365 or 366 days, divided by debtors turnover ratio. So these are the three formulas that you have for calculating average collection period. I am repeating. So per day, if you are calculating, the average collection period is equals to net credit sales divided by number of working days in a year. Then you have the other two formulas. Average collection period is equals to debtors divided by credit sales into 365 days, or days in a year divided by debtors turnover ratio. With this, we will complete debtors turnover ratio. Like debtors turnover ratio, you have creditors turnover ratio. So here itself I have written the credit formula for creditors turnover ratio. One thing you remember, students, so this is not mentioned in your photocopy. You just write down the formulas. So what is the formula for debtors turnover ratio? Net credit sales divided by average debtors. So the formula for creditors turnover ratio is equals to, when do you have creditors? When you make credit purchases. So the formula will be net credit purchases divided by average creditors. Hope you all are understanding this. Okay, so creditors turnover ratio is equals to net credit purchases divided by average creditors. How do you calculate average creditors? Opening creditors plus closing creditors divided by 2, as we calculate average debtors. And similarly, let us calculate, when in case of debtors we have average collection period, in case of creditors you have average payment period. What do you mean by this? The number of days within which you have to make the payment to creditors. So here, the first formula will be, if you are calculating sales per day, it is net purchases divided by number of working days in a year. Instead of net credit sales, you have to write net purchases. And the other two formulas for calculating average payment period is equals to, so average payment period is equals to creditors divided by credit purchases into 365 days. So in debtors, you have debtors divided by credit sales into 365 days, and the other formula will be average payment period is equals to days in a year. So the other formula will be days in a year divided by creditors turnover ratio. So these are the formulas for calculating creditors turnover ratio and also average payment period. So with this, we'll complete this debtors turnover ratio and creditors turnover ratio. So one more thing you have to remember, students, all turnover ratios are expressed in terms of number of times. And the next type of ratio you have is fixed assets turnover ratio. So this ratio indicates the efficiency with which the firm is utilizing its investment in what? Fixed assets such as plant and machinery, land and building, etc. So under the formula for this is fixed assets turnover ratio is equals to, whenever they ask you to calculate fixed assets turnover ratio, which means that you have to take either CGS or sales. First preference always we have to give it to CGS and then for sales. If in the problem if there are chances that they are given both sales and CGS information, then first you give preference to CGS and then you have to give preference to sales. Then you apply the CGS formula. What is the formula? CGS divided by net fixed assets. How do you calculate net fixed assets? Net fixed assets means depreciated value of fixed assets. So this is a formula for calculating fixed assets turnover ratio. It may be either sales or CGS divided by net fixed assets. The ratio will be capital turnover ratio. So this ratio shows the relationship between CGS, that is cost of sales or sales, and the total capital employed. So the formula will be capital turnover ratio is equals to CGS or sales divided by capital employed. As I told you, first preference should be given always for CGS. If CGS cannot be calculated in the problem, then you have to use this formula, second formula, that is sales divided by capital employed. So you know how to calculate CGS. There are two formulas which I have already discussed. Now let us discuss how to calculate this capital employed. So capital employed calculation can be done from assets point of view and liabilities point of view. So this is a formula. So liabilities based approach. So capital employed is equals to short shareholders funds, okay, plus long term debt like debentures, long term loans borrowed from financial institutions minus fictitious assets, okay. So this will give you what? Capital employed under liability based approach. So the next approach will be fixed assets approach, that is assets based approach. So here the formula will be capital employed is equals to fixed assets minus depreciation plus net working capital. So how do you calculate net working capital? Current assets minus current liabilities. You can follow any one of the method. So while calculating capital employed, either you can use liabilities based approach or assets based approach. The answer that you get will be the same, which I am going to discuss when I start working out the problems. Okay, the term capital employed, that is this is the information which is given for calculating capital employed, which I have already discussed here. Okay, so as you all know, shareholders funds includes what? Equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves, and then long term debt includes what? Debentures and long term loans, okay, minus fictitious assets like goodwill, return of preliminary expenses, return of etc., minus non operating investments. This is the formula under liabilities based approach. Okay, then profitability ratios, which I am going to discuss. The next ratio will be the profitability ratios. Before going for profitability ratios, let us work out few problems under turnover ratios. Then I am going to start with profitability ratios.